Logic 0, example 8.2, translating pseudo-English statements into symbolic expressions. So now we're going to go the other direction. We're going to start with a pseudo-English statement and translate it into symbols. Okay, so the lookup table is the same here. And we're going to now translate this into symbols. So I'm going to, again, do this piece by piece. We're going to do it piecewise, working left to right through the sentence and replacing each phrase that appears in the lookup table with the operation that it corresponds to. And then anything that is not in the lookup table, we're going to convert into a variable. And the first non-operation that we come to, we're going to call that the variable A. The second non-operation we come to, we're going to call that variable B. And if there's a third, it'll be C. And if there's a fourth, it's D, et cetera, going alphabetically. Okay. So it is not the case that, all right, that appears up here. So I'm going to replace it is not the case that with a tilde. And I'm not going to do the vertical bars this time. And then they ride their bike. They ride their bike. That works verbally as a complete sentence. And because it works as a complete sentence, it is a proposition. And within symbolic logic and zeroth order logic, every proposition becomes a variable. And so sometimes we call zeroth order logic, we call it propositional logic because the base elements are propositions. Those are our variables, A, B, C, D. So they ride their bike. I'm going to make that A. So we're letting A equal they ride their bike. So that's a proposition. It's a complete sentence. That clause can exist as an isolated complete sentence all on its own. So it is a proposition and it gets translated symbolically into a variable. Sometimes we call these atomic propositions because this entire pseudo-English sentence is also a proposition. It's just a complex or composite proposition. Atomic propositions are propositions that can't be divided into smaller parts. Okay. So they ride their bikes. So we're up to this point. And now we have only if. Only if is in our lookup table. So we're going to take the only if material consequence symbol and place it. Again, we're just following the order of the pseudo-English that was given to us. So don't get fancy with reordering things. Just follow it left to right. Find things that match up with the lookup table, and those that don't should be propositions, and those should be converted into variables. Okay. And so that gets us up to only if, and then it is raining. That's a proposition. Okay, so we're gonna let this equal B. It is raining. And we're going to put B. So it is not the case that they are riding it is not the case that they ride their bike only if it is raining. Notice that this bottom part is not given to us. It's just when we come to the first proposition, we make that A. And when we come to the second proposition, we make that B. And if there's a third, we make that C. And if there's a fourth, we make that D. And so on and so on. So for our answer, we just copy the symbolic expression and paste it into the Google form.